I grew up waiting for someone to love me, someone to call me family, but I learned. Not every family is meant to be loved. The orphanage was always dim, the sound of rain against the windows, a constant reminder of the gloom. One day, the orphanage worker told me with a forced smile, "Lily, there's a family here for you." I turned, and there they were, a tall, stern couple, completely expressionless. "Stand straight. Don't slouch," the woman said, her voice like ice. Their eyes weren't warm. They evaluated me, like I was a purchase, not a child. Their mansion was huge, but it was a cold, silent space. The hallways were long, the walls bare. There were no photos, no warmth, just a hollow emptiness. Mr. Thorne laid down the rules immediately. No speaking unless spoken to. No friends, no mistakes. I could only whisper, "Yes, sir." Then, a girl my age appeared. It was their daughter Zara. She leaned in, a cruel smile on her face. "You don't belong here. You never will." The house looked perfect from the outside, but inside, there was no laughter, no love, just walls that listened to everything. At night, the mansion became even more unsettling. I'd lie awake, hearing whispers through the walls, doors shutting quietly, and muffled arguments from rooms I was forbidden to enter. There was something wrong in that house, something hidden. One evening, my curiosity got the better of me. I found myself standing before a locked red door at the end of the hall. I reached for the handle, but a cold voice stopped me. "You don't open that door?" It was Mr. Thorne, appearing out of nowhere, his stare freezing me in place. I pulled my hand back, my heart pounding. What was behind that door? My days were spent doing chores, always alone. I was in the yard one afternoon when a voice called out, "Hey, I see you out here every day. You okay?" It was the boy from next door, Ben. His question surprised me. "No one's ever asked me that before," I admitted, my voice barely a whisper. A quiet, secret friendship began to grow between us. We'd talk over the fence whenever I was outside. But we weren't as secret as we thought. Zara was always watching. One day, she cornered me, her voice dripping with venom. "If you ever speak to him again, I'll make sure you regret it." I was terrified, but Ben's kindness was the only light in my dark world. One night, the usual muffled arguments turned into loud, furious yelling from behind the red door. I heard a loud crash, and then, a dead, chilling silence. A moment later, Mrs. Thorne stormed out of the room, her face pale and her eyes red with rage. She grabbed my arm, her grip like iron. "You will not leave your room again. Do you understand?" she hissed, shoving me inside my bedroom and locking the door from the outside. That's when I realized something terrifying. They weren't just mean, they were dangerous. I had to get out. A powerful storm raged outside, lightning flashing across the sky. I was trapped. Suddenly I heard a tap on my window. It was Ben, soaked from the rain, a desperate look on his face. "Lily, we need to leave. Now, you are not safe here," he urged. Just then, we heard heavy footsteps echoing in the hallway, stopping right outside my door. "Where do you think you're going?" It was Mr. Thorne. Ben didn't hesitate. He broke the lock on the window, and we climbed out, running barefoot and terrified into the stormy night, leaving the horrible mansion behind us for good. The police were called, and the Thornes were taken away. Ben's family took me in, giving me a room that felt warm and safe. For the first time, I didn't feel like a possession. I felt loved. But escaping was only the beginning. My body was safe, but my mind was still trapped in that house. Ben's mom was so kind. "You don't have to talk right now," she'd say gently. "Just rest, you're safe here." But sleep wouldn't come. I'd jolt awake from nightmares of footsteps and locked doors. Ben would sit quietly nearby. "I'm right here," he'd remind me. "You don't have to be afraid anymore." It was then that I finally broke down, crying for the first time since I'd left the orphanage. The day of the court hearing was terrifying. The judge asked me, "Lily, do you understand you may speak if you choose to?" My hands were shaking. Flashes of memory hit me. The locked room, the whispers, the storm, the escape. I took a deep breath and spoke, my voice a trembling whisper. I was never treated like a child. I was controlled. I saw Mrs. Thorne across the room. She glared at me, her eyes filled with pure hate. "Ungrateful little," she hissed. But the judge slammed his gavel. Enough. For the first time, I saw Zara look truly terrified. After court, a police officer spoke to me. "We found records in that locked room," he explained. "Documents showing they only adopted children to receive government funds." My eyes widened in shock. So that's why they chose me. That's why there were no photos, no warmth. I wasn't family to them. I was an income. The secret of the red door was out, and it was worse than I could have imagined. I was just a part of their scheme. With the Thornes gone, I started to rebuild my life. I began attending the local school. On the first day, I was so nervous, but Ben stood right beside me. "You're not facing this alone anymore," he said with a warm smile. And for the first time in a very long time, I smiled, back a small, but real smile. A few weeks later, I saw Zara at school. She looked completely different. No makeup, no confident smirk. Her eyes were just tired. She walked up to me, her voice shaking. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know. I thought being cruel made me strong." I looked at her and said, "It only makes us alone. We didn't hug, we didn't become friends. But in that moment, a sense of peace settled between us. I once believed love was something you had to earn, something you had to be good enough for. But living with Ben and his family, I learned that real love never has to be begged for. It's given freely, a safe harbor in any storm. Finding my true family showed me that hope can be found even in the darkest of places.